happening and DevOps culture in discussion with our customers, container technologies are taking the forefront seat in all these discussions so far. Also, I think Kubernetes has won the race in terms of container orchestration, but still, we are finding Swarm is also being discussed by our customers and preferred by our customers when they're starting their DevOps journey. So I think there are a lot of questions around why customers are making the choices for the orchestration tool, at what stage, and why first and foremost containers are becoming so important in DevOps and CI/CD discussions. So today I have Prem with me. Hi Prem.
Hi, KP.
So he's our container and DevOps consultant, and we would like to have a discussion with him and try to demystify certain questions around orchestration of containers and containers overall. So Prem, my first question to you is, why do you think containers are taking such a center stage in all our DevOps discussions or CI/CD discussions so far with the customers?
Yeah, so when we talk about DevOps,
Yeah.
there's a lot of aspects that we are looking into. First thing is the mindset, the way we think, the way the organization are doing things, and also the culture that brings together. And also third thing is the objective of DevOps always remains the same. That is how we improve our quality and speed on how we deliver innovation. So if we look at the early adopters of containerization, like Facebook or Google, so they have shown that and proved over and over again how they can actually deliver such a service with quality and speed. And if you look today, how Amazon and Netflix as well, they are delivering services to their customer and new features, added features to their customer with zero downtime, and how they are able to achieve this with the adoption of containers. So that shows how important containerization today when you integrate back to your CI/CD pipeline and so DevOps. With all these success story, I think more and more customers are looking into DevOps.
So do you mean it's time to market is important for the customers when they are servicing their customers basically, and trying to bring new features, functions to their customers through adoption of containers?
Yeah, that's right. So today, if you are ahead of the game, you get the market share and you win your customer. So I think that's what everyone is going into today. How competitive is it today into servicing or delivering your services to the market?
But then why it has become so important in cloud space also? Like why when customers are moving to cloud, during that transition period also they are choosing containers, containerizing their applications?
Yeah, so because today a lot of customers are probably they are not cloud ready. Some of them are not cloud ready, but they have cloud in their roadmap. Their plans for to move to cloud.
Okay.
So by having said that, the only option that they have, or probably the best option that they have, is actually to move to develop application on container because it's portable. So today I can run it on premise, but few years down the road, if I want to move it to cloud, I'm ready to do so with container.
Okay. So that containers provide them that portability aspect as well.
That's right.
And it is very surprising to me when I'm actually talking. I mean, we all know that Kubernetes is winning the race of container orchestration today, but very surprising for me and our team as such that when we are talking to the development teams, they always prefer Swarm. Right? They like Swarm like anything. So we are puzzled why that is so.
Well, that is quite true. So Docker once did an analogy of this. So they say that if you are, for instance, you're purchasing a car, right?
Okay.
You have the option to choose whether auto or manual transmission.
Okay.
So similar way, I see a relevance of this in choosing the container orchestration. So as a developer, their main objective is actually to focus on developing an application. So they don't want to have too much of headache on how to deploy it later on, how to configure things throughout the deployment, throughout their development, and so their testing and so on. So they are looking for something that's very simple. And having said that, I recall of one case where last year we actually implemented Docker Enterprise for one of our customers. So after the end of implementation, we did a training for the infrastructure team, the operation team.
Right.
So right after the training, they told us, they came back to us, they said, can you also train our developers? So we say, of course, and I think it's quite important that the developer as well should know, should have sufficient training on how to develop application container and so on. So we delivered this training, which is a developer modules. So throughout the training, we started with Swarm. And And then we move on to the next topic on Kubernetes.
Okay.
So just like 20% throughout the Kubernetes course, the developers stop us and say, I think that's enough. There's too many things to learn. We are getting more and more confused. What is pod, what's container, the method of deployment, we have like replica set, stateful set, daemon set. So they just got too confused and said, we'll stick to Swarm.
With Kubernetes.
Yeah, with Kubernetes.
Okay.
So yeah, we see this kind of trend. Developers are more advanced towards
So
Swarm.
you mean that it's simple to use, more intuitive and easy for developers to
Right.
make the choice for orchestration as a Swarm?
Right, especially at the early adopters who are just starting in organization.
Okay.
I think they don't want to have too high kind of learning curves.
Mm.
They want something simple that they can deliver right immediately and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so that makes more
So
sense for them.
basically it helps them to give their business that time to market in terms of development by ease
Right.
of use.
Right.
Okay, got it. But when it comes to the operations, the picture is completely opposite of it. They prefer Kubernetes. So, I mean, recently we have seen some of our enterprise customers are requesting us to make the switch from Swarm to Kubernetes when they are running full steam into operations. Correct? So, I think we need to understand why they are preferring to move to Kubernetes when they are actually started with Swarm and when they're in the development phase. So, any insights from you on that?
Yeah, that's a very interesting point as well, because I think operations team, they are looking to have more kind of flexibility or more control into their hands. So with Kubernetes, it allows them to do that.
Okay.
So Kubernetes, there's a lot of advanced feature as well, and it's proven over and over again in different use cases that it has successfully able to manage container at scale, I would say. And also there are some other advanced feature that operation teams are looking to use, for example, auto scaling, for instance, which is almost seamless with Kubernetes.
Okay, all right. So what you mean that for Kubernetes, I think it is providing them the necessary flexibility and choices that they need to make at the operations level. Correct? They can control it more.
Yeah, they have more control. There's more configuration, and Swarm deals out of the box most of the things. So it's not so flexible when you want to make certain changes.
Okay.
Whereas Kubernetes, you can almost make any changes. Or I think there's a lot of feature as well. The key thing is the feature that operation teams are looking at.
So, Prem, tell me, are there any other parameters or any other aspects that customers need to think about when they are making the choices about orchestration platform to choose for in their containerization journey?
So in my opinion, it's not either one or all, because we have known both have their pros and cons as well, and their advantages. So what I would suggest is customers should always have the option to choose whichever container orchestration that they want, regardless of the platform that they choose. It should provide them that kind of flexibility to choose. So it could be a hybrid situation where the development and testing, they are using Swarm because that's what the developer are comfortable and they prefer to use. And in production, where the operation teams are mostly involved, they can use Kubernetes for that. Because this is a question of whether you want to choose simplicity or complexity with completeness.
Okay.
Yeah, so Kubernetes is complete. It's able to handle most use cases, but with this, it also introduce more complexity as well. Yeah, so I think customers should have that option.
So, in a sense, if we have to summarize this discussion, I think the choices are pretty clear from the customer side, and it's not that mystifying if we try to understand what insights Prem has just shared. So, if I understand correctly, Prem, then if for developers who are looking for simplicity, ease of use, and intuitive use for the orchestration platform, I think that's where Swarm comes into the picture and they prefer Swarm. And when control is what is needed by the customers in terms of their operations, scale out, scale in capabilities, the choice is Kubernetes. Correct? So if you consider Docker as a tool which provides basically best of both the worlds, they provide the option of Swarm, at the same time choice of Kubernetes when they go into the operations. Correct? So Docker in a way actually tries to help developers as well as operations team and actually helping organizations to make this transition to DevOps
Right.
and providing that flexibility. And that's the beauty of open source technologies. It provides you the flexibility, the choices that customers would like to have, at the same time having the control of the things that they want to achieve. Thanks.
Thank you.